Hi everyone, this is Adam, and back for another video of Adams for the Love of Movie Picks. This time around, we're doing a double feature: The Car and its sequel, The Car: Road to Revenge. We'll start off. The original was released in 1977, and its sequel, The Car: Road to Revenge, was released in 2019. So we'll start off by talking about The Car. A very simple storyline, great movie, produced by Universal. So I mean, it was a pretty well done production for its time. So the storyline of this one is that a car appears out of nowhere, and nobody really knows what's happening. It just goes kind of on a murderous rampage. It's killing people all in this small desert town as the movie progresses. In the original, the car is a 1971 Lincoln Continental Mark III modified Lincoln Continental Mark III 1971, modified for the movie, obviously. Some of the characters, some of the actors in the movie that you probably would most recognize, at least the one that I most know. I mean, obviously 1977 was before I was even born, but James Brolin. You probably know him as the father of Josh Brolin, well-known actor. But he's probably the only one that I'd recognize, from actors that I know from this time era, from that movie. But yeah, very simple storyline, great movie, and the production quality for its date was great. I mean, just the car itself becomes a character. It's a presence of evil. It's very similar to Christine, except for the fact that it doesn't really need to attach itself to anybody to do its dirty work. It just is. It's just pure evil. And it just kind of goes on this, like I said, this murderous rampage through this small town, taking out anyone in its path. Great movie for its time. Highly recommended if you've never seen it before. It's classic cinema. A cult classic, if I dare say that. The Car, the original, great movie. And up until last night, I hadn't seen the sequel, The Car: Road to Revenge. That one there, again, there's not very many well-known actors that in it, but the people that are in it, they do a pretty good job, even though they're not well-known actors. It's a good movie. So The Car: Road to Revenge, it doesn't, even other than the title and its namesake, there's only really one link between the original and the sequel that I'm not going to really get into because I don't want to give too much away, but there is a small link in the movie that links the two, other than the basis of the storyline. The only main difference is, it's in the Car: Road to Revenge, it's a modified Chrysler 300. I'm not sure of the year. It's the 2005 to 2011 range Chrysler 300. Been modified for the movie. They call it a Lazarus 1 in the movie. The main difference is unlike the original one, where the car is just appears. There's no real background of where it comes from. It just kind of appears out of nowhere. This particular car becomes possessed by the soul of its owner. He's a lawyer in the movie, or a DA, I guess actually is what he is, and he gets killed by by a gang called the Knight. Because he discovers a chip that it has all the information and dirty secrets on their criminal organization, and they kill him to prevent this secret from getting out, trying to find the chip. But in doing so, his soul ends up merging with the car, and it's set more in the, even though it's came out in 2019, it's set in the future, further in 2019. It's quite a futuristic setting. Just the technology is displayed in the movie and some of the things. It's not a high budget movie by any means, but I mean, it's certainly well done. It's not amateur by any means. The production quality is decent enough that it's a good watch. The biggest difference, the other big difference between the original and the sequel is the original. I mean, even though there's some heavy topic in it, it was PG-13 rating. And I still think that would stand up today, even by today's standards. I think it would be PG-13. The Car: Road to Revenge, the sequel, is definitely a hard rating. It's pretty gruesome. It's like the original, like I say, you can almost get away with like a 13 and up audience watching it, the original. But the car Road to Revenge, definitely I wouldn't recommend for anybody under the age of 18. It deals with some heavy topics, some graphic stuff, both in the horror aspect of it, and dealing with drugs and whatnot. Stuff that would make up an R rating. Still an enjoyable watch, but yeah. The premise. So after the guy gets killed and his soul merges with the car, basically. The other main character besides the car is this kind of washed up has-been detective who's trying to solve the case. The woman that the guy who got killed, the DA, that he was always trying to get with and never could. It was kind of his on and off again girlfriend. Ends up helping the detective trying to figure out the case and figure out what's going on. Both trying to get the Knight, this gang called the Knight, and also figure out what's going on with this car that seems to be following her everywhere, and doing all this stuff. It's got some good action and chase sequences. A simple storyline, but effective. It gets to the point. And yeah, just a decent watch, both of them. Final thoughts on it. I definitely am more of a fan for the original than I am the sequel. As simple as the storyline was for the original, it just seemed to be more well done of a storyline. The characters were a little bit more in depth. And yeah, it was more of an interesting watch. Not to say the sequel is absolute garbage, but it's definitely not as good as the original. So yeah, highly recommend either one of them, the car or the car Road to Revenge. Good watch, and yeah, we will catch you in the next one. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.